Now let's talk about you as a health coach and how you might navigate a client who is overweight or obese and trying to lose weight. So, lifestyle intervention should be the very first option to manage weight. Health coaches have been associated with significantly better weight loss or weight management success, increased physical activity, improved mental health status, and better management of chronic disease. In other words, there's a lot of research out there to show that health coaching can help with clients who are experiencing overweight or obesity. So there's different components that go into behavioral weight loss programs, and this is kind of outlined in your book. And they can be divided into three primary pieces: caloric restriction, physical activity, as well as behavioral strategies. And so, for instance, with caloric reduction, individualized calorie goals are trying to reduce it so that it's about a 500 to 1,000 kcal deficit from baseline. Physical activity, the main goal is to increase the moderate intensity physical activities, and then with behavioral strategies, trying to increase adherence to diet and activity goals. So, again, this is how your book kind of outlines these three strategies. I will tell you that I've been a health coach for over 10 years now, and many of my clients are trying to lose weight. And these things, while important, aren't really the root of why they are behaving the way that they're behaving. It has a lot more to do with their sense of self, their self-efficacy, their self-worth. And if you can build that and kind of manage the other things that surround their stress in their daily lives, then you're going to lead to positive health and weight loss programming. Again, these are really important. Setting SMART goals, certainly important. Getting them to be more physically active, absolutely. But I just wanted to make sure that you all understand that, is that, yes, it's nice to break it down into these little pieces, these three boxes, because our brains, it can make more sense, but I just want to tell you that it's more to that, right? It's deeper than that. So the NWCR is the National Weight Control Registry. They are actually the largest collection of data from individuals who have lost significant weight and maintained it for a year. And what they've shown is that in order to have this weight maintenance, there's a few things that need to be there. First, high levels of physical activity. So that is a really, really important one, because a lot of people say, well, I know that studies show that nutrition is the most important thing for weight loss. You know what? You're absolutely right. Altering your nutrition is really, really important for weight loss, but physical activity is the #1 predictor of weight maintenance. So that's really important. Other things include diets low in calories and fat, maintaining a consistent eating pattern, and then preventing small regains from becoming larger regains. So knowing that you are going to fluctuate a little bit, right, depending on the time of year and what's going on in your life, but knowing that you know how to get back to that other number, or getting back to your new normal, is important. So preventing small regains from becoming larger regains is an important piece of that. So it's important for us to be able to provide lifestyle support. So structured lifestyle support is important for successful weight management. Of participants who received some sort of structured lifestyle support from people who are experiencing behavior change or trying to go through behavior change theories, we found that 34% actually achieved weight loss that's greater than 5% over 12 weeks, compared to 19% with usual care. So essentially what this study did is they looked at healthcare professionals, particularly nurses, those who were trained in behavior change and those who weren't. And people who worked with the nurses who were trained in behavior change had a significantly greater percentage of weight loss and weight loss maintenance than those who did not. So that structured lifestyle support, and as a health coach, that's what you offer, is incredibly important for sustained weight management. Self-monitoring is also important in long-term weight loss, and this can be done via food diaries, like we talked about. There's lots of apps and trackers that can help with that, as well as physical activity logs. So it's important that you try to utilize these tools as a health coach so that you can work collaboratively with your client to provide that encouragement, to provide that support in those moments that they need it. Nutrition, the ADA, or American Dietary Association, recommends reducing fat or carbohydrate by about a caloric deficit of 500 to 1,000 kcals per day to produce a loss of 1 to 2 pounds per week. And I know you all know this, right? You've seen this statistic before. And it's probably common that your clients know it as well. And so what the interesting thing about this is that the second you put a number to it, a lot of times people might get a little bit overwhelmed. And so my suggestion is to maybe start off with just seeing currently what they are eating as far as nutrition goes for weight loss, and then seeing what small changes they can make before putting a number on it. So a small change might be to eat more fruits and vegetables, and then 2 to 3 weeks later assess what they're doing, maybe do another nutrition log and see what's happened to their kcals, rather than right away saying, I need you to track and let's look and reduce their kcals by this much. So other components of weight loss programs should include portion control. That's an important thing. Eating frequency, although there is mixed literature on that, particularly with the new and growing literature on intermittent fasting. So my number one recommendation for you is that when you're working with a client, you're going to help them find the best food frequency or eating frequency for them, because it's different per individual. And then focusing on nutrient density. So resting energy expenditure, which is known as REE, is also an important concept for you to understand. The ADA also recommends assessing our resting energy expenditure as a way to estimate the daily energy needs of a client. And on page 297 in your book, there's a really nice example, and it gives you the equations of estimating your or your client's REE. This is a really good tool for you to use, especially if your client tends to like numbers and wants to be educated on this stuff. It could be helpful. Be wary though, sometimes the more information you give them it can become overwhelming to some individuals. And then lastly, there's some other nutritional considerations. So making sure that your client is eating enough protein so that the protein levels are sufficient and consumption is spread throughout the day. Emphasizing whole, low energy dense foods. And then also utilizing exercise as a tool to help manage hunger and reduce total energy intake. So let's do a quick learning recap. What are the 3 primary components of behavioral weight loss program? Secondly, according to the National Weight Control Registry, what's an effective weight loss maintenance, and what things do we need to include in that weight loss maintenance program? And then lastly, what is REE and how would you use it with your client? We'll pause here and I'll see you for the next lecture.